Jimmy leaned in. But I gotta ask, you've always played these patriotic guys, tough as nails types. And recently you have been seen with certain people. Let's just say red hat territory. What's the message here, really? The room changed. That wasn't just a joke. That was a jab. What happens when a man shaped by real punches walks into a studio built on punchlines? Tonight, the gloves were off. The Los Angeles evening air carried with it the scent of anticipation. Outside the studio, posters of Stallone's new movie fluttered in the breeze. The Veteran's Creed, a film about a retired boxer who trains a troubled youth and reclaims his own soul in the process. But inside Jimmy Kimmel Live, the energy was different. Not excitement, not humor, tension. The show had been struggling for months. Ratings dropped, fans drifted. Even the laughter in the studio felt staged. The spark was gone. Producers, desperate to revive the flame, turned to an unlikely match, Sylvester Stallone. Old school, conservative, raw. The kind of guest Kimmel once joked about, not invited. But times were changing, and they needed a name that still meant something to the people. Backstage, Stallone sat calmly in the dressing room, rolling his shoulders as if prepping for a real fight. The walls were covered with movie posters of past guests and sketch segments, most mocking someone or something. Stallone noticed that. He also noticed the framed picture of Jimmy with President Obama. Not a bad thing, but telling. This wasn't neutral ground. A knock. A producer popped in. 2 minutes, Mr. Stallone. Sly nodded, standing up slowly. No suit, no tie, just a black fitted t-shirt and the kind of presence that didn't need introduction. As he walked toward the soundstage, he could already hear Jimmy warming up the crowd. Tonight, Kimmel called out, we've got a legend in the building. He's fought Russians, he's fought machines, he's even fought bad scripts, and won. Please welcome Sylvester Stallone. The audience clapped, though not wildly. Some were excited. Others were skeptical. A few just held up phones, waiting for something viral. Stallone stepped onto the stage and waved, his smile small but real. Kimmel greeted him with an exaggerated grin and that familiar smug lean into the mic. So, Sly, he said with performative warmth. New movie, another boxer. What is this now, Rocky 10? A chuckle rippled through the audience. Stallone smiled, resting back in his chair. It's about a fighter, sure, but not just in the ring. Jimmy leaned in. But I gotta ask, you've always played these patriotic guys, tough as nails types. And recently you've been seen with, certain people. Let's just say red hat territory. What's the message here, really? The room changed. That wasn't just a joke. That was a jab. Stallone's eyes narrowed slightly, not in anger, but in recognition. He knew this ring. You want to talk politics? He said calmly. I'd rather talk about what brings people together, not what splits them. A few audience members clapped. Others weren't sure what to do. Jimmy wasn't done. Oh, come on, Kimmel pushed. You've been at events with Trump, with conservatives. That's got to mean something, right? The trap was obvious. Stallone didn't flinch. You know what means something? He replied, voice firm. A father telling me Rocky helped him survive cancer. A kid who watched Creed and decided not to quit school. That's who I speak for. The audience stirred, louder this time, sincere. Kimmel's face twitched just slightly, and just like that, the air tightened. No longer a comedy show, a ring. A host wanted headlines. A fighter gave him history, and when the gloves came off, so did the audience's loyalty. The applause hadn't faded, but the mood was shifting fast. Jimmy Kimmel leaned back in his chair, bouncing his pen between his fingers. His usual rhythm, snark, smirk, spin, wasn't working. He was trying to find the beat, but Stallone had disrupted the music. The veteran actor sat across from him, relaxed but unblinking, like a cornered panther who chose to stay still, not because he was scared, but because he didn't need to move yet. So, Jimmy said, reaching for levity like a lifeline, you really think audiences want to see an old boxer again? Don't they prefer superheroes now? Guys who fly, shoot lasers, wear capes? Laughter trickled from a few corners of the room, polite but weak. Stallone tilted his head. They don't want fantasy. They want something that reminds them they can get up when life hits hard. That doesn't go out of style. The line landed like a clean body shot. A few people applauded, then more. Someone shouted, "Sly!" And Kimmel's eyes darted, reading the room like a gambler, realizing the table had turned. He forced a grin. "I get it," he said, voice tightening. "Rocky is iconic. But don't you think clinging to those roles kind of exposes something? Like maybe you're scared to let go?" The jab was subtle but personal. Age, legacy, relevance, and it missed. Stallone didn't blink. "You ever let go of something you built with your own blood?" he asked, voice low and steady. "Rocky wasn't handed to me. I wrote it in a one-room apartment, sold my dog to make rent. That character fed my family." The crowd stilled. Kimmel chuckled nervously. "Okay, okay, no disrespect. I'm just saying today's stars are different. More progressive. More Twitter, less sweat." He meant it as a joke. But the line fell flat. A man in the third row shook his head. A woman near the front muttered to her friend, "He doesn't get it." The tension in the air wasn't scripted anymore. It was alive. Stallone leaned forward slightly. "Let me tell you something, Jimmy. Audiences don't care about hashtags. They care about heart. I don't act for blue states or red states. I act for the guy working two jobs or the girl trying to make rent while chasing her dream." Applause erupted. Not thunderous, but growing. Honest. Kimmel's jaw clenched, fingers tightening on his cue cards. This wasn't going how he wanted. He was used to controlling the room. The guests, the spin. Tonight, the guest had his own gravity. Trying to pull things back, he smirked. "So you're saying politics don't matter to you, huh? Even though you have been seen at events with, well, people who shall not be named." The crowd groaned. This time it wasn't aimed at Stallone. Stallone's eyes narrowed just slightly. Then he smiled. "I've been seen with construction workers, with veterans, with single moms. You want to name them too?" A burst of applause. This time it was thunderous. Someone stood. Others followed. Chants of "Sly, Sly" filled the room, echoing louder than the studio speakers. Kimmel raised a hand to quiet the crowd, visibly flustered now. "Okay, okay," he said, eyes scanning the room like a fighter trying to find the ropes. "It's getting hot in here, Basley." Stallone didn't let up. "It's only hot when you're not used to the heat," he replied, voice still calm. Boom, another cheer, and just like that, the audience wasn't Kimmel's anymore. One man left the stage, the other lost it, but when the lights dimmed, it wasn't a show they remembered. It was the truth. Kimmel sat frozen in his chair. The crowd was still standing, not because they were told to, but because they wanted to. The applause wasn't a cue, it was a roar, raw, human, unedited. Stallone had said nothing flashy, offered no punchline. He had simply been real. That was enough. And for Jimmy, it was too much. Kimmel started, fumbling with the cards in his lap, his voice suddenly thinner, weaker. "We're out of time. But before we go," he didn't finish the sentence. He couldn't. The mic slipped slightly from his fingers as Stallone stood up, still calm, still collected. He didn't glance at Kimmel. He turned to the audience instead. "I'm not here to fight a host," he said, voice steady and warm. "I'm here for you, the folks who've watched my films not because of muscles or fights, but because you saw yourself in the story. You work hard. You keep getting back up. That's who I stand with." A young woman in the second row wiped tears from her eyes. An older man near the back raised a fist in silent salute. Someone shouted, "We love you, Slee. Shui, Ushualai." And then he walked off the stage. No dramatic music, no farewell handshake, just footsteps. Honest, deliberate, unbothered. The sound echoed louder than any joke that night. Kimmel didn't follow him.